Jobs suck, Fed filled with morons, yet markets explode. What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, November. It is November, November the 5th. Man, is the year going by fast. And of course, we had lots of data this week. We saw manufacturing fall for the 8th straight month. Sounds like a good plan once again from our fearless leader. We saw the scandal of the Chinese money, which we have yet to see prosecuted. And of course, the Fed did nothing, although they should be continuing to hike rates because of their ridiculous moronic mandate. And yet the markets exploded to their biggest rally in years. Listen, at the end of the day, this is why we don't predict, we don't talk about markets, we just talk about facts and how markets work and how they function. But we now have a like father like son moment, as Rand Paul now is trying to get a bill passed to audit the Federal Reserve, which there would be nothing better than having the Fed audited, because of course, if you remember who finances the Fed, which is us, okay, the taxpayer, okay, it would be nice to know where all our money is going, all of the new money creation that they are making, and their ridiculous moronic policies. I mean, let's face it, okay? Markets are efficient enough to price themselves. The value of something is very, very well defined in what is known as price discovery. But yet, our Federal Reserve refuses to let the free markets trade, refuses to let price discovery handle the situation. Because again, it's like when you buy a car, you buy a piece of jewelry, whatever you buy, you are discovering price. But yet we have a government and a Federal Reserve that wants to continue to intervene in a free market. It doesn't make sense unless they have a hidden agenda, which we know. And this is not new, as much as I have disdain for President Biden, who should be in jail, shouldn't even be president, but that's a story for another day. But this has been going on, whether you be a Republican or Democrat, for years, and it is time to audit the Fed. It is time to put these banks in their place. Okay, there should be no such thing as banks that are too big to fail. And don't kid yourself. It ain't that far away that we're going to have the same situation once again, because the bank bailout funds hit another new record high. Okay, and that's the emergency lending rate at the Federal Reserve, which simply states that the banks are over-leveraged, as we have said all along. Now, again, it doesn't mean that they're going to collapse tomorrow. I cannot predict when they're going to collapse. But we know just by the sheer warning signs that we continue to ignore. Of course, that's the ignorance of Americans who continue to say that America is the best country in the world, which we know it is, but yet we're going backwards, not forwards. So you want to continue to go backwards and end up in the same shithole, okay? Worse yet, end up with nothing. You keep it up. You just keep ignoring it. Keep hiding under and digging your head in the sun, in the sand, okay? I mean, you've got the sanctuary city mayors, okay, who allowed these illegals to come in, okay, and who made them basically untouchable by the law enforcement. They now want money from the federal government. Now, do you want to be a supplier of cash out of your paycheck to help the sanctuary city mayors? Not me. I don't think that we should be allowing them to cross the border. I mean, it's amazing how you go to the airport and you have to go through, you get a proctologist, and they go up your ass looking for something as you go through the TSA and through the security, yet the borders are wide open, and the criminals and the thieves and the drugs and the child slavery and the human trafficking, no problem. So again, you tell me where any of this makes sense as you look at these ridiculous policies, and now they want more money from me to help support illegal immigration and sanctuary cities, fuck them. I wouldn't give them 2 cents, okay? But you can watch what's going to happen because you're going to be paying for it, all right? And of course, a lot of these will end up being voters, okay? Because of course, in many of these states allow these illegals to vote, okay? And of course, you know who they're voting for because they're getting paid off. Hotel rooms, places to live, you know, courtesy of your current administration, who hates Israel, okay, really supports Hamas behind the scenes. They had a vote the other day where the entire squad members all voted against Israel. Great group of people. So vote against your allies and vote for the enemy. That's a wonderful wonderful thing that we should have, and I'm so excited for it. And of course, these energy policies that we're now watching, it has been proven. And finally, you see the dropping of one country after another out of the climate accord. The electric vehicle cars, the stocks are getting hammered. Okay, so let's now realize that it was just nothing more than a scam. And of course, the SEC was involved in it, and the AI company was involved with it, in writing things that programmed in of what they wanted, and all with this stuff of stealing money from, of course, the American taxpayer. Just a wonderful thing that we can continue to look at and watch. And of course, you may not know this, but the U.S. government will be borrowing within the next 6 months another $1.6 trillion. Okay, and it isn't going to be to benefit you, the American, me, the American. It is for the ridiculous programs, of course. Hey, we got to keep paying Ukraine because the big guy's got to get his 10 or 25%. I mean, it's really a joke when you see the canceled checks that have come through, and yet it's amazing what's going on. But we'll get to more of that in our commentary. In the meantime, you've got since in the last year, you've got gasoline up 53%. You've got groceries up 20%. The average annual income is down $7,000. Well, how does that sound? How's that work for you? Okay, are you better today than you were 3 years ago? Okay, around the old Ronald Reagan line. I mean, jobs are horrible, and again, I had this discussion with a friend of mine, and I said that unemployment was much higher, and of course, you can go look at what they call, there's a place, Government Shadow Statistics, which shows how many jobs we've really lost. And of course, once again, we lost a lot of jobs. So you can continue to either read the bullshit that the government puts out for you, and God forbid they would put out the truth, or you can go look at what the real numbers are. Because again, if anybody here can believe that inflation is only 3.8%, you should go have your head examined, go see a fucking doctor, because you're out of your mind if you think that the inflation rate is 3.7% or 3.8% or 5%. Okay, it is well north of 20%. Okay, but keep believing that bullshit that they put out for you, because God forbid you'd ever get the truth. Okay, so I think what you're seeing is you've got some massive issues, some massive problems to deal with, and yet we continue to ignore them, and we continue to let. I think Kamala Harris is now on her 75th remake of their office. I mean, a moron in charge. Can you imagine? Okay, of course, we see some indictments for Nancy Pelosi and other things. And again, this is a mess, and it's a mess that has to be cleaned up before we have a massive meltdown. And hey, it's up to you, the voter, okay? But all I can say to you is this, okay? If we keep going in the direction in which we are headed, it's going to be an ugly period for your children and for your grandchildren, if you're young enough, for you. This is Bubba's Bottom Line, Todd Bubba Horowitz. It is Sunday, November the 5th. And of course, as you know, we have some sponsors, and they're brokers. And our brokers listen, I have many brokers. Just to give full disclosure, I am not telling you have to use these. I'm giving you some great choices. And of course, for our commodities and futures, we use Capital Trading Group, CTG. They do our letter of direction trading. Excuse me. And we're partners with them on a couple of programs and now working on some automation through them as well. But they do a great job. Listen, they got great customer service, which is what I care about. Check them out, info.capitaltradinggroup.com/Bubba. And that's also scrolling on the side here. And of course, for equities and options, Tradier. I mean, listen, first of all, it's $10 a month, number one. Number two, they got great service. Number three, we can automate our equity portfolios at no charge to you or them, from them, through them at Tradier. Okay, and of course, we have our hedging program, which is automated through Tradier as well. Check them out, try.tradier.com/Bubba, also scrolling on the sides. And our high school program looks like we're going to finally get it back into action. Got some big meetings headed up, so it looks like we're going to be in good shape. And that's on the bottom. Check it out if you'd like to help us out. In the meantime, let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line with me, Todd Bubba Horowitz, and of course, our market report. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, the 5th of November. And of course, markets had one of their biggest weeks in many, many moons. This was a pure out short squeeze rally. The Fed didn't hike rates on Wednesday and the shitty jobs report on Friday. And that brings in, maybe the Fed will start easing again and make free money again and make that money cheaper so that we can explode the market. And that's kind of what you saw. I'll say to you that I think it's more of a dead cat bounce, a rip your face off rally, as we call it. I mean, we talked about it all week. Their markets are going to rally. There's going to be a big spike. Well, I think that we might have seen the culmination. And I wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow or the rest, we start to head lower and back south once again. In the meantime, as we look across the board, in the four major indices, we were short them all. We will be long. We will be long them all by tomorrow. Okay, we'll get long either tonight or tomorrow. Not my choice, not my best choice, but I have to follow the program. But certainly I don't see it, but that's where we are. In the meantime, the dollar got hammered last week, and of course, we would have been long dollars. We don't trade it anymore, and it has nothing to do with the dollar itself. It has to do with the cost of trading it through the COMEX, which another group of criminals. But at the meantime, we would be now short the dollar. We'll be now long the euro currency. Okay. Bitcoin, we're still long, and Bitcoin continues to charge and tries to push through that 35,000 level. In crude oil, we are short. Okay, natural gas, we are short. Copper, we are short. In the bonds and notes, we will be getting long them. Okay, we had a nice little run to the downside, and I don't think the downside is over. But again, I can't fight with the algorithm, so I have to go ahead and honor it. In the metals, they're looking pretty good. I mean, not phenomenal, but again, gold hovering. I mean, gold's got a chance to reach our projection of all-time highs this year before it's over. But again, it had a nice little rally. You expect a little bit of a pullback, and we're certainly seeing it. Silver has been steady. Excuse me. Not unbelievable. And of course, platinum, which we don't trade anymore because it's just not liquid enough. But platinum is, kind of hovering around the 9 to 950 level. In the grain markets are still struggling, but I think they look pretty good overall, and we're still short across the board. In the meats, which we no longer trade, but we would be short cattle and long hogs here, and I think short cattle is a great trade. Okay, you just got to pick your spots. And in the softs, cocoa, we're long. Sugar, we're long. OJ, we're short. Coffee, we're long. And cotton, we're short. And at the end of the day, look, again, we'll see what happens, how it plays out. We are in a bullish time of the year, but I think there's a higher probability of this being a black Christmas. Okay, I think we'll get coal in our stocking this year. We'll see. Again, there's always that Santa Claus rally threat, but to me, this looks pretty bad, pretty ugly. We'll check it out and see. In the meantime, I'm going to step out here for a break and come back with, of course, our commentary and our football. Be right back. Bubba's Bottom Line. Well, kids, again, I give you my brokerage partners that I use. Now, I use other brokers, but 99% of what I do is through the two I give you. And that's only because they're the best for you. Okay, again, you don't have to go with them. It's entirely up to you. There's no obligation, but I would certainly check them out. If I could save myself, I save $100,000 a year on commission. So in the meantime, check out Capital Trading Group and trade your brokerage. They're both scrolling on the sides. I'm not going to go through the whole spiel with you. And of course, the high school program if you want to help us out. And now let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line with me, Todd Bubba Horwitz, and of course, our commentary and football. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, November the 5th. And of course, as we've talked about and ad nauseum, because of course, when you have an imbecile in the White House, there's a lot of nauseum to talk about. And I just have to ask all of you Trump haters and all of you Biden lovers, I mean, do you think that it's fair that there is proof and evidence that the current president, the sitting president of the United States of America, has been on the take through China and has laundered money through China and Ukraine and through other areas? I mean, again, this is not me speaking. These are facts that are in full plain view. Just the same facts that are in view that he was a racist and is a racist, hates Israel. Okay, and do you think that the treatment is fair based on what you watched happen to Trump, still happening to Trump and the Trump family? Do you think that this is the way that we as Americans should be treating people, celebrating a criminal and bashing somebody who tried to make America great again? I mean, again, listen, I'm not going to tell you what to think. To me, it doesn't make sense that this man is still in office when there's clear proof and evidence that he took money, that his kids took money, that he wrote checks himself. Okay, there's a paper trail. But yet, there he is, still the sitting president that hasn't done much and hasn't helped much and hasn't done shit for anybody, okay, except for all of our enemies. I mean, you ask any of our enemies, they're thrilled that he's in charge because certainly he made Saudi Arabia better, Russia better, and China better, okay? Let's let him catch up, Mr. President. We appreciate it. In the meantime, let's get to our football picks for the week. And of course, this week we like the Dallas Cowboys, the Cincinnati Bengals, and the New England Patriots. Okay. Have a great week, everybody. Have a great day. And we'll see you back here tomorrow with Bubba's Daily Update. Until then, have a great weekend. Enjoy football if you're a fan. We'll see you later.